Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I heard about another legend. It's not going to take a long time to tell this, but or it shouldn't. But it's about a blood moon, and that the blood moon was a sign that somebody had died a very violent death. And back, when the Salem witch trials was going on, and if they thought you was a witch, they would tie you to a stake, pile brush around you, and set you on fire. And the rule was I reckon if you got loose or whatever, you was a witch. And if you died on that stake, that was getting you forgiveness for being a witch. So either way, you was guilty of being a witch. Well, where people died back then in such a violent manner, they said that when their body would go over to the next realm or whatever, they would cast blood over the moon to show that somebody would die very violently. And they said that, like, they didn't kill many witches during the Salem witch trial. But the witches celebrated, the blood moon because that torture and torment would turn on a blood moon and they would dance and celebrate and stuff like that. You know, it hadn't been a witch because if it was, you couldn't have burned them. That they would have just hocus pocused and got off of that pile of kindling. But back in those days, they said that those people would be so, just in such anguish that their spirits got stuck here. And that anybody who was, killed in such a violent manner that during a blood moon, their souls was allowed to, compass the earth and get revenge on whoever had done them that way. And that, you know, uh, of course, today it's even thought that if you see a blood moon, that somebody was violently killed and that the witches were out dancing and celebrating and there was bad spirits roaming around looking for revenge. And that, you was real careful if you went outside during a blood moon because, it was a real bad, evil time. Uh, they said that back in the Salem witch trials, that was a sign of, that like maybe she wasn't a witch, that she had died so violently that the moon turned red, and that meant that you may have killed an innocent. And you know, people still this day, worry about going outside during a blood moon. They might go out and look at it and then get right back in the house. And I know there's times that people say that, you know, somebody would kill somebody, and if you was around that area during the blood moon, you could like hear, the act of them dying, and hear the screams and whatever of what happened. And they said that I hear a neighbor has built a house out here, and I reckon just right around where they live, they was somebody that cut somebody's head off with a shovel, and I reckon it took a couple blows to do it. But they say there's times that they wonder about, if there's something bothering them, or if there's a curse or something like that. And being if you take somebody cutting your head off with a shovel, I'm gonna say it might cause you to have some pretty bad violent feelings, and it could cause stuff like that. But I forgot all about the blood moon, and them saying about, it was a sign of somebody dying very violently, and the witches would be out dancing. And oh, they say if a witch does a spell purse, they call it, and that's that little purse I was talking about, in the previous video, where they make it like a little, they take a pocket or something or tire fabric and sew it up, and then they stick stuff in it, and then they shut it and bind it. That if somebody, if a witch or whatever's put one on you during the blood moon, that it glows. It'll glow like a bright blue, if that's what color it is, or if it's yellow, it'll be bright yellow. But it glows because the witch is celebrating. It makes it that much worse. And they say that, if somebody has done something like that to you, that right after a blood moon, I reckon the voodoo gets real bad. Then it kind of starts settling back down. Well, that's what I know of the legend of a blood moon, and I was trying to think of something else I could add to it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll do the moons. A full moon is supposed to be a time that of bad things happening and people losing their minds and stuff like that. And they say that on a crystal clear night and a full moon, that the witches brew their potions and stuff and can cast, further distances with their spells and stuff because of the clarity of the moon. And that's why it's thought to be so creepy, is because, the witches were doing their things. And they used to say that a witch could take and, let me see if I can help you understand this. When a witch casts a spell on the moon, and let's say you made her mad, that the moon would turn up like this, where the points are sticking up. Well, she would cause it not to rain by turning the points of the moon up at, it would hold water. And then when her spell got weaker, it would start turning and it would start releasing rain back upon the earth. And so if you see it like this, it's supposed to rain soon. And they said that a halo around the moon, if you stick your finger up at it, here's the halo, here's the moon. You count 1 joint, 2 joint, 2.5 joints to your finger, 2.5 days supposed to rain. And they said that was, another thing that a witch done to, she could predict the weather by doing that thing. And, she'd go to town or whatever and tell people, if you'll pay me this amount of money, I'll release the water in 2.5 days. And there was a lot of these, what do you call them, rattlesnake venom sellers or whatever you call them. They sold snake oils and stuff and liquor and all that off in wagons. And, they would, gypsies and stuff would tell them, they know all the moon's phases and stuff like that. And if it was a real dry time and say you try to run them off, well, they would hex you and make it dry. And they know that for that amount of time it was going to be dry. And then, if they'd come to town a couple of days before it's supposed to rain by the moon signs, and let's say the moon was turned up, they know it's going to rain next day or two, or a halo around the moon, they'd come in town and tell them, say, if you apologize and, you'll do this, and that, we'll bring the rain back. Well, people used to live by the weather pretty much, by gardening and stuff. So they would apologize, do whatever they want them to do. And lo and behold, it would rain. And, gypsies were thought to be able to control the weather and stuff like that. And in my now that's my thinking is, back then they just know the moon signs and stuff. And that's how gypsies was able to trick people into thinking they know what's going on. And, a lot of witchcraft and stuff, if you think about this, you mess with things that people believe in. And, I believe that there is spirits, and I do believe that, stuff like that's here. Uh, you know, if is there a Bigfoot? I ain't seen him. Is there a wolf man? I ain't seen him either. Different things like that. But you know, it's just things that people get set in their minds and stuff. And you know, the moon's one of them that people really have a lot of, you know, legends around and stuff. So I thought I'd come on here and share the, you know, those legends with you that, you know, even on a full moon, that's when Bigfoot and the Wolf Man and all them people were supposed to roam around because they could see better at night. And that was, you know, like daylight to them was dark to us. Well, that's part, you know, the legends of the moon. And I guess I'll let you go. Y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be good to each other. And we'll see you on the next video.